Welcome to our webinar today, where we'll be focusing on mastering AI with some strategies and real-world insights. So some notes for today. The session will be recorded and it'll be uploaded to YouTube, so you'll be able to play the recording back later. And then, yeah, we'll send a link to the video after as well. And then next slide, Dougie. And some technical issues here while Dougie tries to flick the slide over. Okay, yeah, so some of the agenda points that we'll cover today. First, we'll do an introduction to Valto. I can see there's quite a lot of our existing customers on here, but we'll also kind of do an introduction of our services for those new people. We're going to do an intro to AI. We'll talk about examples of AI and how they can be used in business. We'll also cover off the opportunities that are available for AI and then our Valto offerings. So we've got a number of different services and solutions that we'll be offering as part of our AI and data practice. We'll also cover off how to build an AI strategy. And then Dougie will jump into some case studies. We've got some more upcoming events and we've got time for Q&A at the end. So if anybody has any questions, drop them into the chat. And at the end of the session, we'll answer any questions that you have. Next slide, Dougie. Just a little bit about Valto. So Valto was founded in 2017. We've currently got about 40, maybe 45 staff now. Our head office is based in Chester, and we've got employees in Southampton and dotted around the UK. We are Microsoft specialists, so all we do is focus on Microsoft technology, and you can see the 5 pillars of what we deliver here. So the first pillar is what we call modern workplace. So that's helping organizations deliver intranet solutions. So that's things like document management, leave request forms, basically trying to get the most out of SharePoint. We also work with organizations to help implement hybrid ways of working. So that's kind of reducing and replacing internal emails, moving away from things like traditional file servers and utilizing Microsoft Teams and Viva as much as possible. We also offer managed services. So all of the pillars that I'm talking about, we can provide managed services for, where we'll look after them for you. But we can also provide more traditional IT support. We have a Microsoft 365 and Azure division. So that's helping organizations basically utilize their laptops, get those set up, move away from traditional servers into the Azure public cloud. So basically setting up securing devices. We also have business applications, which is what Jay heads up, and he'll introduce himself shortly. But that team focuses on developing solutions with the Power Platform. So that includes Power Apps, Power BI, and Power Automate. And then finally, which the new division of Valto is a data and AI practice, where we look to provide AI solutions around Fabric, Power BI, and Pro Code development using things like Azure OpenAI, and of course, Microsoft Copilot, which we'll cover off today. So just meet the team. Obviously, I'm Hugh Valentine, the CEO here at Valto. We can move over to Dougie.
Hi, I'm Dougie. I'm actually a Microsoft MVP. So I spend a lot of time looking at new technologies, especially around the AI kind of world, and then I'll be bringing them to our customers via webinars and other useful materials as well.
Jay?
Hi, I'm Jay, the Head of Business Applications at Valto. I'm responsible for leading our talented development team here. Over recent years, we've had great success in delivering Power Platform-based solutions for our customers, and we're excited to continue that success while we embrace the opportunities that AI offer for Valto and our customers. Cheers.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Jay, and over to Ricky.
And I'm Ricky. I'm the team leader for the Data and AI work stream, and I'm here to lead the function from a technical perspective and getting hands-on with some of the building as well where required.
Well, thank you very much. Next slide then, Doug.
So I'll jump in. So what I want to talk a little bit about is the use of AI for creative. When we're talking about creative, we're talking about things like image creation, video editing, all those types of things. So I've got a couple of different examples about how this is being used and how we're currently using it at Valto. So the first example is of AI image creation. So Copilot, which is a product that Microsoft offer, can actually create images directly inside of a chat type interface. So you can see here, if I go into Copilot and just ask it to create an image of a man walking barefoot towards a mountain, it's going to take that away and it's immediately going to start creating those images. And you can see here, this is what it's created. This was actually a live example that I recorded, and it's took my little message there and it's actually created it. You can be more specific with kind of the style. So if you want to sort of cartoonish, if you want to sort of realistic, and you can kind of define what that image looks like. We can also edit images as well. So not only can you generate images using AI, you can also choose to edit them. So in this example, I've got this image here of the pyramids or some clouds. But let's say, for example, if we were using this for a purpose where the main focus was the pyramids and it wasn't actually the clouds, we wanted to take away that focus, we could use AI image editing to essentially highlight those clouds. And they can then essentially predict what the rest of the background would be like based on some of the other areas here. And it will then remove those clouds from the image. So as I say, you don't need to be a graphic designer to do this. The clouds in this case were kind of quite distracting, and we can select them and remove them. And it's really easy to do using a sort of drag and drop type of interface. Next is AI image animation. So again, this is very similar to in terms of the editing piece, but we're not actually removing something here. We're actually choosing to animate it. So selecting something like the birds or the rockets, and then very small type of animations, turn them into GIFs and things like that. But again, you don't need to be a graphic designer to do this. You can take an image and make it into an animation. It's really useful for short ads and things that you're trying to sort of gain a sort of attention for, and essentially bring that image to life and make it stand out. And then finally is AI image generation. So AI can in fact predict, say, the surroundings of an image as well, meaning you can extend it further to create a very unique image. So Nike recently used this as an example of AI, where they created a full advert using AI, and they recorded how they did this. So they've selected something here and they've generated, based on their set of logos, the Nike logo. They then generated it again in terms of using a set of images of their clothing, and then based on more predictions, it's then predicted obviously it's in a gym, and then they've overlaid that with their slogans. So this is an example how you could use AI to sort of generate images in that sense, and expand out that kind of image a bit kind of further. So I'm going to hand back over to Hugh, that's going to talk you through what is AI.
Yeah, great. So on this, I just wanted to cover off some of the examples of what AI can help with. So if we jump over to the next slide, Dougie. So there's a number of different key types of AI solutions or machine learning. So we have supervised learning, which we're jumping into here. As an example of supervised learning, we'd effectively be looking to try and train the model up on by providing it different images. So for example, we could provide a number of different fox images, and we can teach the model what what a fox would look like. So we can give it 1,000 videos where it's identifying foxes, and that'll then come back and identify all of the foxes in footage. So we're currently working with a zoo to help them look at their footage from wildlife and identify different types of animals that have been identified on that footage. So this is kind of identifying that. We're training it up on what a fox would look like, and then that can go off and take away the man hours so that it'll start to speed that process off. The next one, Doug. The next one's unsupervised learning. So this is basically where we can provide the AI a whole host of data, and then that AI model would come back and find groupings of similar data based on the model. So for example, we can give a whole host of shopping data, for example, Costco data, and then that'll come back with the combinations of goods that people have bought. So this is all about feeding the models with as much data as possible, and then allowing the data to come back with combinations that it's found as part of that process. And the final one, which is just around reinforcement learning, which is where we're training the AI model by giving it data. So a good example of this would be on TikTok or Instagram. As we start to watch reels and videos, the more we watch those videos, it rewards the model that we like those, and then it'll start to show you more of those videos over time. So that covers the 3 key areas that we can use AI, and then we'll hand over back to Dougie to talk about how important AI is.
Thank you. So the rate of how AI is growing, AI is rapidly surpassing humans in diverse tasks. It's showing accelerated sort of dominance in a lot of sort of arenas. The implications of AI range from positive contributions to fields of like medicine and education, but it also has the potential for negative consequences, such as the misuse of AI for spreading misinformation. It also builds and enables automation. So it may lead to things like job losses or promoting organizational changes in work. And it does spark debates surrounding AI's possible threat to sort of humanity versus essentially what positives it could bring as well. So it is a kind of a polarizing thing. Some people love it, some people are quite fearful of it. And what we're looking to do is try to educate people about the potential uses of it, and also at the same time how to mitigate those risks. So ongoing AI development prompts crucial questions about future implications and preparations. And you can see here, based on the years that have gone past, all the types of technologies and where AI is surpassing the human performance. On that note as well, tech revolutions, AI adoption is no longer an emerging trend, with 73% of data and analytic decision makers building AI technologies and 74% seeing a positive impact in their organizations. So you can see here where things like steam engines came in 1700s and where AI currently is. You can see as we kind of get closer to this, more and more technology is speeding up. And that kind of rate of growth is increasing. So 150% increase in work output. Sorry, I should have said Microsoft AI can have a tangible economic impact on businesses. In one example, a recent study conducted showed that it concluded that Azure AI benefits can include 150% increase in work output and improve spending optimization whilst reducing costs by 7%. So why use AI? So here are 6 sort of core reasons, and there's plenty of reasons, but here's some of the top ones that we often speak to our customers about. So enhanced customer experience. So you can make your customer's experience better. So it might be, say, for example, you could plug in a chatbot using a bit of AI, which will look at a knowledge base of information that you've got. So rather than them having to wait for, say, a support desk or something like that to come back to them, they can use a chatbot to find information that they need. Data analysis and insights. So we're going to talk a little bit later on about Microsoft have a stack of products that's called Fabric, and that essentially provides everything you need to look at data analysis and insights all in one place. But there's also AI insights that get pulled from that. So it gives you a helping hand to actually analyze your information, and it might have spotted something that you just never would have spotted. Especially in the case that Hugh was talking about before with Costco, they did a load of data analysis, and they found some really weird things that they found certain products were being bought, and you never would have guessed it. That there might be sort of like peanut butter, but with someone's buying tin foil along with it or something like that. And you wouldn't necessarily spot that, but with that kind of trend, you might think, right, okay, well, why is that? Look into a bit further. Maybe it's a baking thing. Maybe there's something like that. Maybe you can bring those products together closer on a similar aisle or something. So those are the types of things that you might not necessarily spot, but a machine, essentially, AI would spot. Increased efficiency and productivity. So again, the level of kind of automation and things that you can bring through AI. Will also bring about kind of saving on labor costs as well. So potentially there's ways that you could automate things using AI, which will then basically mean that you don't need as many people doing that, or you don't need to go on such a hard recruitment drive. It will also give you that competitive advantage as well. So people are starting to move to AI. A lot of your competitors might already be considering different avenues of AI. But again, for the same reasons we were talking about before, you could get that competitive advantage over your competitors by looking at using AI for automation. Risk mitigation security. So again, it might be that there's some AI that's built into some security products and things like that to spot things that might be sort of suspicious. But yeah, there's a whole sort of catalog of reasons why you could be using AI. But it's also worth saying, as I was saying before, it's kind of like a split between people are really excited about AI and there's loads of reasons to be excited, but there's also a lot of people who are concerned, they're worried that there's risks involved with AI as well. So you've got to make sure that you're managing both of these and you're mitigating those risks. So how can you secure your data? So essentially the risks of AI predominantly are about data security. Who's got access to your data? And one of the things that we're tending to find when we're speaking to people is that AI can almost put a spotlight on potentially poor data management, data security. And if you were just to drop in AI overnight, you might find that somebody's using a chat bot or something like that to sort of say, what is the salary of our CEO or something like that or whatever. And obviously they shouldn't be able to get access to that data, but if your data is not properly secure in the background, it could be that bot can just go out and access that straight away on your behalf. Unintentional bias. So again, you've got to be kind of careful that you're sort of factoring things in, and actually AI has a level of fairness that's built into things. As well as bad behavior as well. I don't know if anybody saw in the news, I think it was about a week or two ago, DPD were in the news because they had a chat bot which actually was swearing at customers. And this was basically because of poor sort of guides and logic that was set up inside of the app, which basically allowed the app to go a bit rogue. And not only was it swearing, it was also talking quite badly of the company, which again should be something that was programmed in as a value at the very beginning. Training and adoption. Again, a lot of people just don't know even where to start with this process of where to start things off with. So we'll talk about some of the workshops that we offer later on, but it really comes down to that kind of readiness piece. Get people excited about the art of the possible and understanding it from the very beginning. Get them using some bits. People start using it in their day-to-day life as well. So they might already be using things like ChatGPT and things like that as part of their day-to-day life. So getting a bit of training, awareness, things like that will help mitigate some of those kind of problems further down the line when you actually come to do a full adoption plan. Legal consequences. So like I was saying before about the bad behavior. Again, another big risk of this is if it's not properly structured, the robots, the AI, they're going to be acting almost on your behalf and almost like the voice of your company. So you've got to be careful about what actually it's doing and saying and how it's operating, just so we don't end up with any kind of legal consequences. But also a big risk is not maximizing the return on investment. So things like Copilot, we're going to talk a bit more about later on in the webinar, making the most of it, making sure that you're using all the kind of elements of that to get the full return on investment rather than just hyper focusing on one small element of it. Everything's a bigger picture. Everything's got a suite of products related to it. So on that kind of note, that we're talk a little bit about the launch of Copilot. So Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 is already generally available. So for enterprise customers, it's been available since November of last year, whereas actually it's now fully available to everybody. There was a bit of confusion around all of this because there was, as I say, it was only available to enterprise people, and you had to have a certain amount of licenses and things like that. Whereas now Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 is offered as an add-on license. So you can now purchase it. There's no minimum sort of license, which at one point I think it was 200 or 300 you had to purchase. There's no minimum. It's priced at $30 per user per month, and you can co-term it as well. So your Copilot licenses can pin them onto the back of existing yearly commitments. So although it is technically a yearly commitment, if you've only got say 3 months left on your current commitment, it's only 3 months that you're committing for. So you can kind of test the waters with it. You don't have to go the full kind of force with it. And also to set up your Copilot licenses, you do need a Microsoft partner. So you can't just go and kind of acquire those. You do need to get them through a Microsoft partner. So AKA, you can speak to Valto and we can help you sort of acquire those licenses if you want to get hold of them. So I'm going to hand back over now to Hugh, who's going to talk a bit about Valto AI services.
Yep, so we'll cover off some of the AI services that we're looking to offer. So if we perhaps jump over to the next slide, Doug. So there's 4 areas that we're looking to focus as part of Valto's AI offerings. The first one is Valto already have a number of existing products. So we have intranet solutions, document management solutions. We've already started to develop AI modules for those. So for example, for our document management solution, we're building a bot that would allow employees to ask questions of the policies directly from within SharePoint or Microsoft Teams. So for example, rather than having to go dig into a policy on maternity, I would just be able to ask what the maternity policy is, and the bot would come back with a relevant section of the document and save me some time there. So we're kind of already started that process and we'll start to launch those soon. We're also going to look at reselling the Microsoft AI products. So there's a number of AI products that Microsoft have brought to the market. Dougie's just mentioned one about Copilot. We'll be doing a Copilot session over the coming month or so. So we'll be doing a webinar focused very much on Copilot and how that can help organizations. But we'll be offering services that will help resell Copilot and help get your business set up for it. We're also offering a number of consultative services, so I'll talk about those in a second. And then finally, we're going to be looking at providing pro-code development. So organizations that need very bespoke solutions developing rather than off-the-shelf packages. We're going to help organizations build their own AI toolset. So over on the next slide, the first one we have is about Microsoft AI product scoping. So if your organization is currently looking at Copilot and how that can help your organization, how that can start to save you time, we can help deliver a AI product workshop where effectively one of our consultants will come and spend the day with you. They'll show you Copilot and some of the other tools that are available, and they'll start to help get a plan set up for how you can roll that out for the business. So Copilot is a fantastic tool, but you have to make sure that your data is secure. We've had customers come to us that have started to use Copilot where it started to interrogate data. So people were able to ask questions of what salaries were because the relevant areas weren't locked down properly. So this will help you make sure that you're ready for Copilot, get you trained up on it, and come up with a plan that can help you roll that out across the organization and then measure the return on investment. We also have what we call an AI readiness workshop. So this is a day on site. It's for organizations that are looking to start utilizing AI but aren't sure about where they should start really. So they might be looking to create a strategy or a plan. So this session is generally best to host with perhaps your management team, your department heads, or your board. And what we want to do is we want to come into your organization and show you the art of the possible. So we'll show you AI solutions tailored to your industry. Whether that's manufacturing, non-profit, we'll show you real examples of how that can help your organization, why you should be excited for it, but also how you should start that process of, for example, we don't want to use public ChatGPT because there's a risk of the data being shared with other organizations. So it's how you build your processes, how you lock that down, how you distribute your comms around the business to make sure that you're rolling that out in a safe and secure manner. The next one is around AI strategy. So once we've set up the initial session around getting you excited for AI, this is to help you develop a more refined AI strategy. So you can go back to the business and explain how you will use these tools. So what should you be using in place of ChatGPT? How could we roll out Copilot? You can see there's an example agenda over on the right-hand side, but this is very much kind of building your next year, 18-month strategy around how AI could be used in your organization, right from understanding your current business, your current ways of working, demonstrating tools like Copilot and OpenAI to show you and open your eyes to what the possibilities are, then helping define and create policies so that your organizations knows what tools they can use in a safe and secure manner. The next one is around fabric scoping. So lots of organizations have requirements at the moment where they want to interrogate the data that they have and perhaps pull in data from other data sources. So they might already have a wealth of information in your ERP system, in your financial system, and you're looking to take advantage of that data and start to kind of get some information back from the tools available within AI. So Fabric is a tool that Microsoft provided that basically is like a data warehouse. So it allows us to take data from various different data sources, such as your ERP system, maybe your financial package like Xero, maybe SharePoint or Teams. So it takes all of the data from those various data systems, it puts them into a data warehouse solution, and Fabric then allows us to transform that data. So we might be looking to join the data, we might be cleansing the data, and then some of the AI tools might be helping to provide analysis around that data and come up with patterns that perhaps we haven't identified. So this will help you start to build your data strategy using Fabric. And then on the back of that, obviously we can leverage Power BI to create some visual reports, whether you're looking for a leadership dashboard or a finance dashboard. Once we've got the data into Fabric, we can present that using Power BI to kind of present that information back to the business. And then the next one is around pro code solutions. So there's a huge opportunity, which Dougie's going to cover off in the next slides, where we can build very custom AI tools, which will basically, off-the-shelf products probably won't be able to utilize the full power of AI. So if you have very heavy man-hour tasks and you're looking to start to automate those processes, our pro code solutions will basically build you an AI solution from the ground up. And that'll use things like ChatGPT Enterprise, OpenAI, and some of the other tools that are available within Azure. And it's back over to you, I think, Dougie.
Yeah, so I just wanted to run through a couple of different case study examples of how AI is being used. So the first one is an example from a civil engineering industry. So this is an example of AI in live time that detects cracks and faults within an underground pipe. So it's actually a robot, a little kind of robot sort of remote control car type thing with a camera on it attached to that robotic car, which is logging faults in live time. So as you see, as it's kind of crawling through the pipe, it's moving around, it's having a look around with the camera, so it's looking to see if it can detect any issues. When it does detect something with AI, what it will do is it will look at it from a kind of percent chance. So it will start logging potential. So it's found something there where there's a potential issue. And as it kind of actually finds something, it's 100%, so it's just found a fault, that will then log that into, a say, table or something like that, which can then be sent back up for an engineer to review those faults afterwards. Potentially, you could then use something like Fabric Power BI for reporting on the number of faults and then looking into that data a little bit further. So that's using more of a kind of pro code solution that we were talking about there. The next example is actually something that we worked on for a recruitment agency, and this is actually using part of the new SharePoint Premium package, which was previously referred to as SharePoint Syntex. So SharePoint Syntex essentially is a way that AI is layered on top of a document management system inside of SharePoint. So this solution was built to extract key information out of CVs for a recruitment agency that they would store in SharePoint, and then it would automatically tag that information against the document. So you can see here's a little example we've trained this AI with a model of CVs, so it knows what CVs look like. So it's then just a case of opening, well, you don't even need to open the document, but I'll just open it up there so you can see what data we're actually extracting. So this CV here for Sarah Smith, we can see her phone number, her email address. We can even do this in bulk as well. So you can do this with multiple files. You don't just have to do it with just the one. So once you drag it in, the AI will kick in. You refresh the page, and then it's automatically extracted out, for example, their first name, last name, email address, phone numbers, and the city they live in. So it's nice and easy then, as a recruiter, you can put all your CVs in there, extract out the data that you need to, and say, for example, I'm looking for a SharePoint consultant in Chester. I can go into that particular area, filter by Chester, and then I found all the CVs for that particular role. Of course, take this with a pinch of salt. This could be used for all sorts of different types of processes and things like that. It's just showing you how you can extract data. It's also something that's commonly used with things like invoices and things like that, but all sorts of different types of documents and things like that this would work for. And then the final example here is actually of Microsoft Fabric. So this was actually something that we built for a non-profit. Essentially, in this example, AI is being used in Microsoft Fabric to help analyze data captured related to donations for a charity. So the data input was actually from Microsoft Power Apps. So they had a Power App that they were entering in a lot of this information through. Microsoft Fabric displays charts, so we can see this here. So I'll just walk this through. But all charts are related. We can see, for example, there like a trending line of what's coming through. We can also see, it might be quite hard to see, but I'll just pause this here. In fact, actually, as I go through, we might have to see this a bit better. But there's some AI insights. If we just look at drilling through into, say, for example, the Northwest as a region of where donations are coming from, we can drill through. We can see the information here. Then you can see it's just generated some AI insights for us here. So we can see, for example, the most common month for donations is December, and the average donation value that's taken from the website is £10. So those are the types of things which, again, just looking at a bunch of charts and data might not spring out to you straight away as an obvious insight, but AI has gone away, looked at that, and brought that information back to us. And over time, we can kind of train it so we know what the type of things which are actually truly useful to us and things that actually potentially we don't need to bother with. But essentially, the point I wanted to get across here is that it's almost like another pair of eyes and another sort of analytical brain that's looking at this that could bring you information that maybe you didn't spot in the first place. So essentially, this chart is showing us the key figures displayed across the different charts. It visualizes the donations by region or by year. And we can drill down into each of those different regions, as we've just seen here, into the Northwest to look at a bit more detail of those donations. And we can gain insights from specific regions with AI. So that's where we can get our insights about the regions, but also the amount of spend, the types of months that it comes through in, what years have done better. And then we can start formulating things. So we can go, okay, well, we've taken more money in December. So why is that? Maybe we were running some sort of Christmas campaign or something like that at the time, and that's why it was generating more money in December. So those are the types of things you can start to leverage your own knowledge on top of what the insights are actually telling you. So I'm just going to hand back over now to Hugh, just to talk us a little bit about some of the physical events that we've got coming up from Valto.
Yeah, cool. So we've got two AI boot camps coming up. So the first one is in London, I think. Dougie, sorry, mate.
It is, yeah. So the next slides, in fact, I'll go on to the next one.
Yeah, cool. So we've got a London AI bootcamp, which is being held at the 27th of February in the Microsoft Reactor in London. This is a kind of workshop type session where there'll be a number of talks, including some guest speakers from Microsoft as well. But we'll be doing a deep dive into some of the AI technologies that are available. If people want to sign up, they can scan the QR code to register. We'll also just drop the links to those in the chat just now, and we'll follow up with an email on that as well. And the next one we've got is a Manchester bootcamp, and that will be on the 4th of April. in Microsoft's UA 92 offices, which is just near Old Trafford. And again, if you'd like to sign up for that, the link's on the screen now. The agenda, Doug, if you just go back a couple of slides, as I mentioned, we'll cover off a deep dive into some of the technologies. So I'll talk about how to build an AI strategy. Doug, you'll talk about how to prepare your files for AI, so I'm talking about that security. And we'll also have 2 sessions from our partners at Microsoft and Comscare, which will be a deep dive into some of the technologies that are available. There's also be an opportunity for networking. And then the final piece is we're also looking to deliver a number of webinars on the specific technologies. So you'll receive invitations and emails about these coming up soon. But we'll be doing a deep dive into Copilot, Fabric, and some of the other solutions that we talked about. But this will be showing you how they actually work and how you can get started with them as well. I think we've now got time for Q&A, which I'll hand back over to Dougie, I think.
Thank you. So just to let everybody know who's attending, there is like a little Q&A option across the top, so you can post any questions. I can see a few people have actually been asking questions, so I'm just going to jump into there and take a look at some of the questions that we've been asked. Going to back so I can't see the screen. So the first question is, what is the difference between Fabric and Power BI? I'm actually just going to send that question over to Ricky just to explain that for us.
Yeah, sure. So Fabric is Microsoft's new analytics platform, and that now incorporates Power BI. So whereas Power BI is more of the reporting tool for your data, it's now become a part of the suite of the analytics platform. That also includes things like Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Activator, and a few of the Synapse things that were also available in Azure as well. You can still just use Power BI standalone with a free license, but they're trying to put you down the Fabric route really now.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ricky. Another question somebody's asked, will you be sharing the deck after this? So if you want a copy of this, feel free to email us at hello@valto.co.uk and we can send you a copy of that. Next question. Why should businesses adopt AI now rather than waiting? I'm just going to send that one over to Hugh, if you don't mind answering that one.
Yep. So I think if you don't kind of get ahead with the new technologies, you'll probably find that you'll be left behind in the industry. There's a huge amount of time saving and optimization that AI is going to bring to the business world. So for example, Copilot, which we're using internally, is saving us a huge amount of time for when we do a workshop with a customer. We create a number of report notes on the back of that workshop. And following the workshop, we then compile a tailored report for customers. Copilot's massively speeding that process up because it can automatically convert our notes into a document format. And then we can just spend time tidying that up and kind of utilizing it. There's also areas where thousands of man hours, like in the case studies that Dougie described, like the videos where we're recording potential cracks in drains, that currently takes people thousands of man hours. If you continue to work in the old practices, then another company who starts to utilize AI technologies is going to be able to do that a lot more cheaper than you, and they'll push you out of the market. So AI is really something that's going to make you a differentiator in the market. So don't take advantage of it, you'll be left behind.
Brilliant, thank you. Another question there, does everyone have access to Copilot now? So just to answer that, yes, you can get access to Copilot now, but you do need to get your licenses from a Microsoft partner. So again, if you want to get your hands on licenses for Copilot, just drop us an email at hello@valto.co.uk and we can get those sorted for you. Another question here, this is another Power BI one coming your way, Ricky. I already have Power BI. How do I migrate my data from Power BI over to the Fabric platform?
This one's nice and easy, so you won't need to. So as soon as you've enabled Fabric in your Azure tenant, all of your existing Power BI datasets can also be used within Fabric straight from the get-go. So there's no configuration. They're just there as just standard Power BI data sets, or as they were Power BI data sets, to be shared across the rest of the Fabric platform.
There's a question here from Rachel as well as around Power BI. Can you pull data from any system? So yeah, you can pull data from any system, basically. Some systems are easier to take that data. Some of them might need more manipulation, but there's ways and means to get the data out of every system and bring it into something like Fabric. Like that's what you can bring data directly from data sources into Power BI, but Fabric's also a staging area which allows us to bring that data in and manipulate it. So that's the benefit having something like Fabric in place. And there was a follow-up piece of that about that, which was some of the fields in the system are not mapped. So that's where we can use the transformation tools in Fabric to perhaps join that data and map them together more. So there might be a solution with just Power BI, but Fabric might also be able to help as well, Rachel.
Brilliant, thank you. There's a question here, I think it's probably one for Jay, relates to as AI tech is ever evolving all the time, how can we ensure that we can control the release of new AI features?
Yeah, I mean, as magical as AI can sound, at the end of the day, it's still a tool. So we just want to apply best practices like we've always done with all kind of software. So first and foremost, it comes back to being ready and prepared. That comes back to having your data secured, having those AI readiness sorted out and done before you turn it on. Once that's baked in as part of your organization, as your business, we then just have a measured approach to how you release that into your organization. So that could be a phased rollout for certain topics or certain areas. You could also just focus it in and around certain target audiences that you want to validate and review the AI features as they get put into the systems and start making the difference that you need them to make. And it's just kind of, rather than going big bang, you just go in little and often and take a softly approach.
Well, there's a question here for you, Dougie, as well. Just 2 seconds. So the question is, Microsoft Teams Premium, do all the people in a Microsoft Teams meeting require Teams Premium licenses to utilize Recap, or is it enough for only one participant to have it?
I'm not too sure off the top of my head, to be honest. I'll have to come back. Actually, I know who's asked that question, Daryl. So I'll double check that. And I think
Rob's actually pinged me in the background, and he's just done a test as well. So you do have to have that. So we've been using Teams Premium quite a while internally, and he's able to utilize the recap features. But a participant on the call who didn't have Teams Premium was not able to see that recap features. So everyone who wants to see it has to have it, Daryl.
Cool. Let's see what else we've got in the list. One other one. How do we approach user adoption for AI? I'll send that one over to you, Hugh.
So it's about identifying the kind of strategy initially. So obviously people have probably already started to utilize AI tools. It's important that you define what is acceptable within your organization. You perhaps don't want people going off and utilizing tools like ChatGPT. If you define your policies and your processes and outline to the business what you are happy and not happy with them to use, then that starts the process off of adoption. Then it's kind of looking at the tool sets that we have available. So things like ChatGPT Enterprise, Azure OpenAI, Bing has some features, and obviously Copilot. And it's defining your strategy for those and then obviously rolling those out towards the business. So I think you need to just start planning how you want to use the tools before people in your organization just go off and start utilizing them themselves. More questions, Doug?
I think that's it.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much for everyone for attending. We'll follow up and send the video out and obviously links to the other face-to-face events, and we'll hopefully speak to you all soon. Thank you.